there's sadness I can't shake. Avoiding what's burning, walking the safer path. And the wheels, they just keep on turning. Why don't we feel it embracing us? There was a time when magic opened up our eyes. We struggle jaded in the cold every day. Why is it so hard to let love unfold and stay? Humming the same song, never writing the words. And our wheels, they keep on turning. Why don't we feel it embracing us? There was a time when magic opened up our eyes. Why don't we feel it embracing us? There was a time when magic opened up our eyes. Living on the far side of town, sharing a dream with anyone. She's made it through heaven, she's made it through hell. It's just another story to tell. Have you ever felt you're missing the dream? Have you ever wished your life was like the movie on the screen? to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. Hey yo, heart of a villain beats hard in the centrifuge. Bearded BP, 100 interviews. All it takes is 2 mics and 1 line. This is Bearded Villains podcast worldwide. Driving cross countries, getting ball tires. Bam across ponds, always inspired. Chapters connect, and then it's on fire. Checking phones, this BV is like a live wire. They said that we couldn't do it. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the heart of a villain. Hey,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another.
From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart. It's the heart.
Wait for this thing to close down here. It's on a separate track. There we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the Bearded Villains Worldwide Brotherhood and the lives there. You know what? We got rid of that. The lives there. Yeah, well, hey, we're doing good out there in the world for each other and for other people that we come in contact with. And I'm going to give you a few examples of that here in just a little bit. But hey, today is episode 205, and it is February 29th, 2024. February, that's what I said. If you're listening to this years down the road, you will remember February 29th. It is leap year, more specifically, leap day, which brings about some very curious and some very interesting factoids out there in the world that we're going to spend just a couple minutes talking about that too. So, but yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome. I'm glad you guys found me here tonight. I'm glad everybody is doing well. Hopefully it's good to see you here. Those of you who are here live, and I will be welcoming you guys in here that are in the comment section in just a second. But, first off, let me say that, I have to apologize to those that were planning on being able to see me and those that I was planning on being able to see myself in Nash Vegas tomorrow and for the rest of the weekend. As you know, I interviewed my interview last week. We dealt with Nash Vegas, and I talked about Nash Vegas and then talked about how excited I was to come back to it. It's one of the events that I have always gone to ever since I found BV and it became a journey for me. I have never missed, except for the years that they didn't have it. But I haven't missed a Nash Vegas. And sadly, in the last few days, things have happened and now preventing me from making the trip down tomorrow for Nash Vegas. So I am sorry. I'm going to technically miss my first Nash Vegas weekend. So I'm kind of bummed about that part of it because it's always such a great time. And it's one of those events that, if you're around BV for any amount of time and you go to a lot of the bigger events, sometimes, some events that you go to, they're hit and miss as far as attendance, or one year, maybe the attendance may be a little bit down, but it's still a lot of fun, a really fun time. Other times the attendance is really up, but maybe for some reason it doesn't feel the same as it did so it goes back and forth. But Nash Vegas has always been one of those events that it's just fun. And you go, and I've loved the atmosphere that they have at Yeehaw, and it's just a great time. The guys down there really know how to put on an event, and so good luck to you guys tomorrow and Saturday. I know that you're going to do great things and make a lot of money for the charity, and just have a blast. I know they're going to do that. So, but sadly, I am not able to make it this year, so I got to put it back on the books for next year. But what that does mean is that now the first out-of-state event, which was supposed to be Nash Vegas for me, but now the first out-of-state event that I'm going to be going to is now going to be if I'm not mistaken, actually event. I'm going to be in the next couple weeks. I might be visiting something local here, but will be the Chattanooga event at the end of the month. I believe on the weekend of the the weekend of March 22nd, 23rd, I think, somewhere around there. But yeah, that's going to be my first now. It was going to be Nash Vegas and then that, but now it's just going to be the first big one for me for the year is going to be down there in Chattanooga. So look forward to seeing you boys. So anybody that is listening to my voice that's going to Nash Vegas, if you're still going to be in the area, hopefully get to see you in Chattanooga if you're going to be around. Not too terribly far away from those two events. So let's hope for the best there. Hey, I want to say a big shout out and say happy Thursday and hello to everybody that is here live with us tonight in the comments section, of course, to say hi to. And let's just bring them all in here. Shifty says, "What's up, everyone?" What's up? He probably does it in a more manly voice than that. But what's up, Shifty? How you doing? Doug is here. What's up? Good evening. Good to see you here. Mr. Reluctant Viking is also hanging out with us here. Evening, gents. Good to see you. And Frank and Beans is, of course, hanging out with us as well. Cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you. Papa also hanging out with us tonight. Good to see you. Been a bit, man. Papa. Hopefully get to see you, I don't know, sometime in the near future. Be hanging out. I'll be around. So maybe you can be around at the same places, maybe. Buddy, how you doing? Good to see you here. All right, so that's who's chimed in so far, but I know that there's other people watching, so we'll just take it for what it's worth right now. So I wanted to tonight, because we did the Nash Vegas talk, and there's not another event for another week or two, and we've got some other things going on in the world that I'm kind of lining up to talk to people about this, that, and the other thing. But tonight was kind of had kind of an opening in it, and it just worked out that, of course, now it's Leap Day. And so in just a few minutes, I want to do our new segment, which, by the way, I've been really happy with the way that it's come across, and our new segment, Villains Around the World. And what I wanted to do with it, I went ahead and spliced it off and made it a separate little clip that I went ahead and posted as its own little thing, so that we can actually share, and I can actually share all of this little block of information that we get from what our chapters around the world are doing, and just in a small condensed segment. It can be some days it might be a 3-minute segment, some days it might be closer to 10 minutes, but that's something that I can share out in the interwebs, on Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff, just to be a condensed package of, hey, look at what look what all of our cool chapters are out there doing. So I hope to be able to continue to do that tonight after tonight's program, and then we'll move on as we go every week, and that'll be a segment that endures, and that's something that we can always count on, that you'll see out there, just a clip of that one little segment. So, but I've been happy with the response that we've gotten from that so far. So, but hey, do we have anybody listening that can respond right now or not? Any chance that anybody here it's their birthday on February 29th? I've run into a few people. I can't think of anybody that I personally know right off the top of my head whose birthday is today. But it's one of those things that when it happens, right, you always hear, oh, it's somebody's birthday today, and it presents kind of an odd circumstance, really, because of the fact that that day only happens technically, well, not even technically, presumably it only happens once every 4 years. But as I've learned today, there's actually times when that's not the case, which I found to be very interesting. A buddy of mine, fraternity buddy of mine, posted something early this morning, and I thought it was very funny. I'll have to share it here with you. Just a fun little factoid about Leap Day, right? And so what he sent out a message was, he said, Hey, in case you are stuck in an elevator today with someone and you need to spark up some talk, you can tell them this. Leap year is not always every 4 years. It is skipped if the year is divisible by 100 and not 400. Now, I have no idea how he or whoever else figured this out. I mean, of all the random facts that you could come up with, right? But apparently, we always tell you the tale is always that leap year is every 4 years. You get February 29th every 4 years. But I guess technically, because that still doesn't solve the problem with the cosmos and the calendars and everything else, and I know that there was a switch, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, from one calendar to another because the previous calendar somehow you lost 10 days or something. I don't remember. I don't know. I read about it a little bit, but so anyway, it's just kind of a fun factoid. He said that every 4 years is not always the case. If it is actually skipped if the year is divisible by 100 and not by 400. So what does that mean? Well, the next time that this occurs is in the year 2100. I won't be around for that. Most of us won't be around for that. But hey, there might be somebody listening to this right now, 77 years away. There might be somebody listening right now that might last to the year 2100, and they'll get to see no leap year that year when it's supposed to be there. So I don't know if you get to see something that's not there, because that's a whole different other conversation. But in any event, I just thought that was a fun factoid. But hey, now you know. Now you know. And I found a few other things that I thought I would impart upon you, wisdom-wise, right? That I found interesting, that dealt with specifically because, hey, how often do we get to talk about Leap Day? Well, I have never done it in the history of this here program. Why? Well, because this here program is 4 years old. And the last time we had a leap year, it was on the cusp of the beginnings of this program when it didn't exist. So I don't remember having a leap year on for the show that we've actually been on for the show for. So, we're going to celebrate that today. I know, guys, this could be a train wreck of an episode, but I don't care. I'm going to have some fun with it. So, right? It's my show. I'm going to have fun with it. So, hey, I'm just going to share some fun factoids about leap year for you. Did you know that leap day, as we call it, I was always told leap year day, but it doesn't make any sense to say leap year day. So leap day makes more sense. So we're going to go with leap day. That's the official party line of the Heart of a Villain podcast going forward. It is leap day. On leap day, it is marred in a dark history in parts of the world. That has a dark, dark history on February 29th. Did you know that the Salem witch trials kicked off with the first warrants being issued on February 29th, 1692? Accusations of witchcraft led to tragic ends of Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne. The day remains a chilling reminder of consequences of fear and superstition. The Salem witch trials kicked off with the warrants from February 29th, 1692. Did you know that there is actually a term that is designated for people with a birthday on the 29th of February? Did you know? Have you ever heard of this? I didn't. What are they called? They're called leaplings. Leaplings. I know. I was kind of disappointed in that name. I felt like it needed to be cooler. Right? Leaplings. Okay. When I heard that there was a term for it, I was reading and I was like, where is it? Leaplings? Okay. Well, it's a leapling. So if you're born on February 29th, you're a leapling. The Honor Society. Yes, you heard me say that right. The Honor Society of Leap Year Day Babies. The Honor Society of Leap Year Day Babies is a global community for leaplings, advocating for the recognition of their unique birth date. I don't know how you advocate for the recognition of your birth date, but hey, this special group brings together those who celebrate their birthday only once every 4 years, offering a space to share experiences and challenges unique to Leap Day. So, hey, if you are listening to this, if you are listening to the sound of my voice and you are a Leap Day baby, you too can belong to the Honor Society of Leap Year Day Babies. Go out and search them. I don't have a website for you, but because I myself cannot be one. But if you are so lucky, if you are so fortunate to have a February 29th birthday, you too are a leapling. And you too, as a leapling, may join the Honor Society of Leap Year Day Babies. It is so. Hey, did you also know that February 29th is believed to be unlucky for love? Unlucky for love. In some cultures, February 29th is considered unlucky for weddings, with the belief that marriages on this day are doomed. Doomed. I don't know about that, but it's good to know. If you're thinking about getting married anytime in the future, don't do it on February 29th, because you know what? The statistics aren't get you, or they're pretty much half and half anyway already. So why would you want to throw something else into the fire that says, "Oh, what the heck? Let's just." I don't care if you're superstitious or not. They say 50% of marriages end in divorce. Why would you want to just chance it even further by doing it on the 29th of February? I don't care if you're superstitious or not. Why try? So don't get married on February 29th. Moving forward. And also, one last thing for you. Did you know that there is a tradition, there is a kind of a traditional thingy from history where women propose to men. It's supposedly where at one of its beginnings, where the ability or the theory that women will propose to men. It's now, you see it a lot, but leap years bring a quirky tradition of women proposing to men, a practice that is said to originate from a deal between St. Bridget and St. Patrick in 5th century Ireland. So it goes back a ways, right? None of us remember when that was. 5th century Ireland. This leap year loophole allowed women to break free of waiting for men to propose. And over time, this evolved from a serious social opportunity to more of a lighthearted one, with some places enacting fines for men who dared to refuse a leap day proposal. I don't know about all that, but it's pretty fun nonetheless, right? Yeah. Hey, we had a few more people chime into our chat, so I've got to give a shout out to them. Anybody that comes into our chat, I love to see you. See you that you're hanging out with us and well. Bearded Savage is here. He said, "Hey, good morning, everyone." No, he said good evening. I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. Good to see you here. And Noob was here also. Love the content. Hey, I love it. Thanks for the comment. All right, we're going to keep it going, man. We're going to keep the fun stuff going. So, this show tonight is going to be a little bit shorter, and I'm okay with that. Hopefully you are too, because we didn't have an interview guest tonight. So, but I'm going to do our Villains Around the World segment, and remind everybody to go out and check the beardcalendar.com, thebeardcalendar.com for events in your area. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. And we're just going to wrap it up. Remember, I said with turning the corner of episode 200 and coming through this year, I said, I am not going to be worried about, and I'm not going to get all upset or knock on myself for, hey, we only have a 30-minute podcast tonight. So what? I'm not going to try to push it to an hour just because, right? Some days we're going to have a 30-minute podcast. Sometimes we're going to have an hour and 10 minutes. Some days we're going to have 45. Hopefully we won't ever have 15, but if it happens, we're only going to have 15. That's okay. And I have decided that I'm okay with that. So What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Reluctant Viking says it's late here in the UK and he is still working. Bro, I feel you. I feel you. It is late there. I do know that. It's it's actually I think early there now. It's like 2 a.m., isn't it? Something like that. Yeah, that's but hey, if we can be a respite on a working morning for you, and if we can give you some sort of happiness or smiles on your face or pride being a member of the Bearded Villains while you're doing that, then that's what we're here for. And that's what we'll continue to be here for, damn it. So I want to kick it right into our Villains Around the World segment that we have come to love. So without further ado, let's get into that. All right. So we've talked about this before, and this is the Villains Around the World segment here on the Heart of a Villain podcast. Again, just as a reminder for you, if you weren't already aware of what this is our segment where we're going to talk about all the cool stuff that our villain chapters around the world are doing. Sometimes it's one or two guys, sometimes it's full chapters. That's great. Now, I will caution you, as I've said before, there may be some stuff that I miss. And most of the reason for that is because you didn't let me know about it. So if it's posted on Instagram, if it's posted on Facebook and I come across it, great. I'll try and grab it. I'll reach out. I'll try to get the full story behind it. But I have to be dependent a little bit on all of you out there to share with us, share with me what you're doing. And I want to share it with everybody else. Let's tell the world all the cool stuff that our villains are out there are doing. So with that, let's get right into it. The Bearded Villains Portugal chapter. Every month, members of Bearded Villains Portugal walk the streets of Oporto, one of the cities with the largest number of homeless people. They distribute food, warm clothes to the homeless. BV Portugal is currently raising money for dog food and for dog food for a shelter that is in need. All the monies raised go toward the shelter. They have shared a poster with bank information if anyone would like to make a donation for that. And I'll share this here. BV Portugal also has a few collection points around the city for anyone who wishes to donate food items and cleaning products for their efforts. Again, Bearded Villains Portugal, out in the streets doing good, and they do this more than once a month. Again, chapters out there making a difference. Boots on the ground. This is what we love to see. Bearded Villains Chicago. Bearded Villains Chicago. On February 25th, the Bearded Villains Chicago, the BVC, held another successful event, the proceeds of which went toward BVC's overall charity drive for BVC charities and the Chicago Special Olympics Polar Plunge. This was BVC's first ever darts and cornhole tournament and cost just $40 per team to compete. We will hear more from BVC next week after they take part in this weekend's Polar Plunge upcoming into Lake Michigan in Chicago this weekend. So congratulations, BVC, on a successful weekend. And I know how you roll that into the following weekend with this Polar Plunge coming up. So congrats, and look forward to hearing from you again next week. Down in Texas, LSV. Down in Texas on February 24th, the Lone Star Villains meet took place, otherwise known as LSV, took place in Bastrop, Texas, where brothers from across Texas as well as Louisiana gathered for another great meet. This was the 7th year for LSV, and it was hosted by the Bearded Villains Austin chapter. The event included a beard competition, silent auction, and raffle, as well as an event called the Cornhole Turf Wars. Cornhole Turf Wars. The Cornhole Turf War continued the new tradition of friendly competition between the chapters in Texas. The winning chapter of the Turf Wars this year was the North Texas Villains. This year, the proceeds of the event benefited the Children's Advocacy Center serving Bastrop, Lee, and Fayette counties, which helped to end child abuse through a variety of services offered. This was the first event hosted by BV Austin and raised $4,500 in a matter of hours for Children's Advocacy Center. BV Austin would also like to thank everyone who contributed to the success of the event. Congratulations, guys, on a great and very successful event. Next up, all the way up in Detroit, the Motor City Villains on Saturday, February 24th. The Motor City Villains took part in both the Frozen 5K and the Polar Plunge at McRae Harbor in Macomb County, benefiting Special Olympics of Michigan. They were able to raise just short of $700 for a great cause and had almost the entire chapter out for the Frozen 5K. And every member that took the plunge was also involved in the walk. So great to see. Between all the teams involved in the event, it raised over $85,000, smashing the $65,000 goal. Motor City Villains were proud to participate in the third year as a chapter. The Motor City Villains would like to thank Ed Sanner from Northern Indiana, who braved the snowstorm to make it in time to watch Motor City make poor decisions for a good cause. After all the festivities, everyone went out for some Detroit favorites afterwards. The Motor City Villains say the invitations are always open to have other villains join them at their event, which this event is an annual tradition now. So if you'd like to participate, hit up the Motor City Villains. Next up, in Southern Indiana, on Saturday, February 24th, 5 brothers from Southern Indiana Villains took to the beach in Pride's Creek Park in Southern Indiana on a balmy 34-degree day. Despite the cold, the brothers were welcomed warmly by other plungers and volunteers. This polar plunge was again very successful, and after having a few sips of coffee, the brothers from Southern Indiana Villains took the plunge after having raised $1,400 as a chapter. They even received specially made patches from Mr. Randy Parker, one of Indiana's top fundraisers. Captain of Southern Indiana Villains, Saint, said it's a great day for charity work. Congratulations, Southern Indiana Villains, on another great day. Now we come to Missouri Valley. Also, this past Saturday, we had polar plunges everywhere, folks. This past Saturday, just across the way from where the Southern Indiana Villains were, over in Missouri, the captain of the Bearded Villains Missouri Valley chapter also took part in a polar plunge, representing his chapter. Eric Berger, known as Buff Cat, also made a splash for Special Olympics. Eric raised nearly $250 by himself for Special Olympics in just 5 days and took part in the polar plunge in St. Louis, Missouri. According to Eric, he said, this icy feat is not only benefited. I have to start that over. He said this icy feat not only benefited a worthy cause, but also checked off an item off my bucket list. Congratulations, Eric. It is unknown if he plans to participate in the future now that he has checked off the bucket list item. Congratulations. And I have to give a shout out to Bogota. Now, I do not have the information required for this. I found it. I tried to translate over the information that was on the slides for it. I have reached out, and I hope to hear back next week. But I do know that from what I can tell, the Bearded Villains Bogota chapter was involved in some mission work, and I hope to be able to bring that to you here in the coming days. So congratulations to everybody for all of the hard work here with the villains around the world. We look up to you, and we're honored to call you brothers. Thank you very much. Well, guys, hey, that was a fun time. I love hearing about what our chapters are doing all over the place. And I love being able to share it. I love being able to read about it first off. And then I love being able to at least being another funnel to be able to push that information out. Because as you know, and I know, we've seen it before, there's a lot of chapters out there that just do the work. and they don't even take pictures. They don't go out of their way to try and say, hey, look at us. And I will say it until I have no more breath in me. I will say it till my voice is all gone, but I don't look at it that way. And I wish that the brothers out there that do look at it that way would stop. This is not bragging. This is not saying, hey, look at me. Hey, look at us. This is sharing with people that don't know who bearded villains are, what we do and what we're about. This is a way to tell them and get involved with us if they would like to. Or maybe bring in some other villains when people find out what we want to do. It's also a way to share that information with other villains around the world, right? Social media is great, but it's also terrible in several different ways. Some people don't like to be on it at all. So I like to be able to be one more resource where I can push out some of the really cool stuff to the world that our chapters are out there doing. So I hope that in the coming days, coming weeks, coming months, as you and your chapters are doing some really fun stuff, and I don't care how small it is. If it's a polar plunge, don't care. If it's a tournament that you're doing in somebody's backyard to raise a little bit of money for charity, don't care. If you're doing a charity car wash, I don't care. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it. There are so many cool things that are going on out there, and there's so many really great chapters doing some really amazing things for charity. And it doesn't always have to amount to $50, $30, $20, $10,000. It can be hundreds of dollars. It doesn't matter. And I hope everybody out there can start to see that and realize that the money total doesn't matter. The total doesn't. Some people say, well, why are we going to promote? Why are we going to talk about we only raise this much money? It's no big deal. It is a big deal. Because you know what? You chose to try to make a difference. You chose to step up. You chose to make a difference. When other people didn't, you did. When other people sat on their couch, you stepped up and did something. So it is something, and it's significant enough that we need to celebrate it. So we're going to promote it as often as we can. And that's that. Hey, guys, we've hit it. I can't believe it. We're like 30 minutes. And I think we can just wrap this episode up. Episode 205 is a 30-minute episode, and I can be proud with that because it was full of content, fun stuff for just 30 minutes, and it didn't need to be blown up with a whole bunch of extra filler, right? This way I get to let you guys get back to your Thursday night. You guys can go do your other stuff. If you're listening on a regular podcast platform, I love hearing from you. I love hearing from you and telling me that you're doing this while driving down the road at work, or you're headed to Nash Vegas right now, or you're headed to some other meet later. I love hearing about it. So with that, guys, have a great night. I'm going to kick this song back in here, and we'll bring up the song. But, hey, I want to challenge you guys to always, what do I always say? I want to challenge you to be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. The most important words, though, I say every week are what? It's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. But that means you still need to take the steps and find someone to talk to. Guys, that's going to do it. It's going to wrap up episode 205. I will see you back here again next week for episode 206, celebrating more villains around the world doing some really amazing things. Until then, take care. Stay safe.
Heart of a villain, bro. Lights, camera, action, action.